Hello, my name is Brandy Round, and this is my final presentation for the final exam. So, my article was a qualitative study of the nursing students' experience of clinical practice by Farahindu Sharif and Sarah Mosumi. So, here I wanted to go ahead and first start by kind of talking about the article. I know you don't necessarily want us to like describe, but I kind of wanted to tell you a little brief summary overview of the article. So the purpose of this article was to investigate student nursing experience about their clinical practice. So basically what they did, they took the focus groups and they obtained students from the Sharif University of Medical Sciences. They took 90 of those students out of 200, and they basically put them in 9 out of 10 focus groups, and which allowed for them to collect data that was adapted from the approaches of the qualitative data analysis, because they wanted to see what the nurses' experience was throughout their program, their like clinical practice. So the results from that was the 4 themes emerged from the focus group data. So these basically different topics. So from the student's point of view, the initial clinical anxiety, the theory practice gap, and the clinical supervision professional role. So they kind of basically brought took each one of those categories and they wanted to get their feedback from the nursing students. And these were all considered an important factor in the clinical experience. So overall, the conclusion of this study that they did, they concluded that the nursing students was not satisfied with the clinical component of their education. They stated that they felt anxiety as a result of feeling incompetent and also feeling like they didn't learn anything with the professional skill. So basically, that was basically kind of like a summary of the article that. So now going into really like not defining the article, but kind of like breaking it down when it pertains to our class. So the type of study that I felt like this article did was, it was in this article, the quantitative design that they used was, I feel like it was a phenomenological research that this article kind of present themselves, because I believe that this study was used because in this study, it focuses on research describing live experience and individuals about a phenomena as described by participants. And so basically that's what this article kind of was about. Like they took the experience from the nursing students, and all of the nursing students are, in that university. And this was actually, they kind of basically transcribed what was really like going on throughout their experience. So it was basically live experience that they actually, had, and they just basically told them that their experience from the program. They put the nursing students in focus groups and presented them with interviews that were essential in the evaluation process as a part of the need assessment during a program, at the end of the program, and a month after the completion of the program, to gather perceptions of the outcome of the program, of that program. So when you look at what a phenomenological research design is, it kind of sums up what they were doing. They were taking information from somebody that experienced it, and they were trying to see the outcome of the data pertaining to a certain experience that everyone had. So basically the nursing, they all took the same classes, they all did the same type of work. So they wanted to collect all that data to see what the end results would be. And so then when it comes down to like evaluating an article, I think what I've learned was, to see, if these type of researches and this data collection is trustworthy or ethical concern. So when we talk about ethical, we try to make it seem like making sure that we're not in violation of exposing people's information. We're making sure that we're taking the right information and we're not basically being biased. We're not just taking a sum of students that have, just say we have a high GPA to determine who was successful in college, and we're only just taking 2 classes with the highest GPA. We're making sure that we're looking at all data. So when it pertains to this article, for this study, I don't feel that there was any ethical concern, because they took 90 nursing students out of 200 and it was randomly selected. So it wasn't like it was biased. It wasn't like it was just selecting like the top the people that succeeded well, or the people that did well in certain classes. They took randomly, and so that they were able to get the results off that. So I believe that this was a fair way to collect enough data, and also no personal information was shared. The only thing that was shared, and it was anonymous. The only thing that was shared was just what they felt about how they felt about the program. This study showed qualitative reliability, because when you think about it, you want to make sure that this type of data is reliable. You want to make sure that the researchers have done other research, which in this article they have. They took research from other places and try to see what was the best outcome. So it was consistent across the different researchers and different projects with the different focusing groups, and it was important to check, and it's also important to check the accuracy of the transcription. So when you do when you do focus groups, you want to make sure that when you're transcribing the information that is accurate. So you basically, the information that we're getting from each nursing student, we want to make sure that that is accurate and that is their own work, and they're not just saying what the other students said or saying or writing down how the other students feel. Is actually what they are feeling at the time or how their experience was throughout the whole program. I believe that the trustworthiness in this research has a great validity through data triangulation, and that they use multiple nursing students to obtain the same type of data. So when you're talking about data triangulation, it's really mainly using, taking multiple things or multiple people and getting the same type of results. So what we did was that they took different nursing students, so different students learn differently. They do things differently. They may feel differently. So they took that, but in the end result, they came up that 90% of all the students felt like they didn't learn anything. So it's kind of like, although everybody had a different learning style, everybody probably had different grades, they probably had different outcomes, but when they had the results, all the data suggested that they felt like the program didn't help them in going into their clinical practice, nor did it, they felt like they didn't really get much out of the program. So, that's when we're looking at data like this, we kind of want to see these different types of, data design with the qualitative study to make sure that we're getting the best, knowledge that we need, we're getting the best data that, and because not all data is true data and not all data is accurate. So this is a way of just making sure that when we're looking up such, we're having all this data and we're trying to find out, a certain outcome that the data is true and that it is also safe, and it's not, and you don't want it to be any ethical concern where you are falsifying data or making sure that you're not using people's personal information that they don't want to be used and stuff like that. So this is just a great way I think this is a great way in with my article to show that the different way of how to collect data. And this is a works cited from my article, and I really appreciate you all listening to my presentation, and I look forward to hearing feedback from you.